Presenter in this session is John Mair from Greenland Minerals Limited. John Mair holds a PhD in economic geology and has worked in the resources sector internationally across a range of commodities. He has extensive experience across technical, managerial, and corporate areas. John has been involved in Greenland since 2008 and is the managing director of Greenland Minerals since 2014.
Thank you, Anna, and thanks for the opportunity to be able to provide a brief update here at the PDAC. It's always a great forum to be able to present. Title of the presentation is Positioning Greenland to Become an Important Rare Earth Supplier. There's been a lot of discussion about this over a number of years, but I think what's important to recognise is these projects do require a significant runway, and it's a sector that hasn't really existed sort of outside China. So it's been really preparing Greenland for a moment in time, but on that basis, we've got a great opportunity through what has been over a decade working in Greenland and what is a sector that's about to undergo significant transition with major demand growth in the coming years owing to the rollout of electrification of transport systems and so forth. So it's a great opportunity for Greenland coming up, and we hope it'll be a very successful development story. So just moving right in, as I touched on, we've been operating there for some time. And really this is a story about a transition in energy use, a transition towards clean energy, the electrification of transport systems and so forth. And these are technologies which are dependent on metals with unique properties, and these are largely rare earths. And rare earths make supermagnets, and supermagnets lead to energy efficiency. So we're talking about the neodymium and praseodymium and the terbium and dysprosium. Unusual names, but they're going to be, I guess, increasingly important, and there's, I guess, growing attention politically, economically, on these particular metals. What's important as well to understand, this is a sector which has also, over the last 10 years, been undergoing significant transition. I'll touch on this a little bit more, but that brings about, again, opportunity. We've been focused, since our time in Greenland, on one project, the Kvanefjeld project. The company owns 100% of that project, and it's one of the most advanced one of the most significant of what is a small number of advanced rare earth projects globally. As I said, these projects, they do take a significant amount of work, a long runway to get in place, but we've got a very good foundation now to see this successfully move into the next phase. I'll just touch on as well, we work closely with what is, I guess, a major in the rare earth space. And this is an industry which is dominated by Chinese players, and we're lucky to work with the group Xinghe Resources, which is the most international of China's major rare earth companies. So just coming back to the rare earth sector, this differs from a lot of conventional mining operations or material spaces in a way, because there's a whole lot of steps or processing steps to go from ore in the ground to a high purity metal and oxide that is industry ready. And China dominates the downstream part of that processing. So a lot of mines go through steps to produce an intermediate product, but that can't be used by a magnet producer and so forth. So China basically dominates in terms of technology and capacity of downstream processing. But in the last 10 years, there's been major change to the rare earth industry in China. And what that's seen is I guess, a lot of restructure, a lot of reorganisation, eradication of, I guess, poor performance, bad practice, but also eradication of the illegal channels, consolidation of production. And I guess that's culminated with the point where they've capped primary mine production at a time where demand is really about to surge. And again, this creates a window of opportunity. So what that means is suddenly there is going to be a big need in the coming years to turn on a number of significant operations outside China. But the key to be successful is you've still got to find a way to integrate with the downstream processing, which is something where the Chinese are light years ahead. So that's really played into our strategy as a company and I guess how we've shaped the project as well. So just touching on the project, similar in terms of bulk ore resource to what Greg's just been talking about, part of the big, I guess, rare metal province, which is capturing a lot of interest in southern Greenland. Under the JORC code, over 1 billion tonne of resources across 3 different deposits, a bit over 100 million tonnes in ore reserve category, and that's enough to sustain an initial 37-year mine life. So we're talking about large-scale, long-life operations. South Greenland benefits from, I guess, it's climatically mild as far as Greenland goes. You can operate easily year-round, direct shipping year-round. We're close to infrastructure, and the benefit of support from local towns. And that goes through to the support that we get through the municipality as well. So we're talking about not just a light rare earth or heavy rare earth, but this is a project that will contribute to all important rare earth elements. And that's really important, as well as producing a series of byproducts that serve to strengthen the economics of the project. So really it's something highly competitive economic metrics, which is really important. So a large-scale producer that can sit comfortably in the lowest cost quartile for many decades. So just reviewing the setting down here, South Greenland again, very favourable location. I think, as we've seen in a couple of presentations, this is going to be a really important mining district for Greenland as a whole. We're talking about a lot of gold endowment, major rare metal province, and I think new things stand to be discovered. And as things are developed, that helps to fuel ongoing investment, ongoing exploration, and I think that helps to produce, I guess, develop local skill sets that can continue to see this part of Greenland develop a strong mining hub. So this is looking really, I guess, an overview of the project area. This is looking up the Narsak Valley from the heliport up towards what is the Kvanefjeld Plateau. So sitting behind here is one of a series of resources. This is a 600 million tonne resource, the top, say, 100 metres or so converted to ore reserve category. So the mine plan is for an open pit operation sitting behind that ridge, so you'll largely not see it from the town of Narsak. So we're looking at an area where much of the project infrastructure will sit quite neatly in the Narsak Valley with a mining concentrator up around the back, road obviously transport down to what will be a purpose-built port at the base of the valley, and that'll produce a series of products. Firstly, the mining concentrator, a rare earth mineral con, a zinc concentrate, an industrial fluorspar, then a simple acid leach circuit that will leach obviously rare earths and then go through an impurity removal process that will recover a uranium byproduct as well. So coming back again, what's been happening outside of Greenland, and this comes down to what is the rare earth value chain integration all about. And going back a number of years, we recognised this was a significant project. We wanted to be able to identify a partner. We looked globally. All roads led to China. So we've been engaging the system now for over probably half a dozen years. And through that process, we came to learn a lot about the structure, the different groups, what their agendas were. And we came across a group, Shenghe Resources. And very quickly, we realised there was a strong alignment of timing and strategy, primarily because Shenghe is a publicly listed company that was focused on an international growth strategy. They really wanted to push out into what was a bit of a vacant niche, and that was setting up new supply lines internationally with, I guess, a very strong demand growth over the horizon. So through that process, they'd studied over 50 projects internationally, and out of that, Kvanefjeld ranked at the top. So they were very, very keen to get involved, and in 2016, they stepped in and became our major shareholder at about 12.5%. Now that began a process of technology transfer, where they brought their expertise to the project, worked to optimise the project and get it into its best possible form. Also, in consideration of how would this best then plug into downstream processing, which they have full proficiency over. So it's been, I guess, the best way to look upon it is it's bringing in a strong industry partner that has, I guess, a proven ability to provide high purity, we're talking about 99.99% purity metals and oxides, to a cross-section of high-tech industries. So I'll just touch on this has been a sort of a 2 to 3 year process that we worked through. We've done a lot of work on site in that time as well with a cross-section of specialist engineering firms to get the project in its best and most cost-effective form. I won't worry about going through details. But I guess at the end of that optimisation project, we're more confident than ever. We've got a very, very strong internationally competitive development scenario. Late last year, we, along with Shenghe, participated in the Confederation of Danish Industries Greenland Focus Conference in Denmark. And this was a great opportunity to sit down with the Greenland government, with the minister, deputy minister, and provide, I guess, greater insight into how we see this rolling out, the downstream processing strategy, and a targeted international market, ultimately looking to do downstream processing in Europe. So this is a very useful exercise to, I think, get everyone clear on what is a great opportunity and a group that's very committed to work with us to see a successful development scenario. Meanwhile, in parallel, we've also been working through the permitting phase in Greenland. The social impact assessment has been reviewed, updated, standing by for public consultation. The EIA has been through a rigorous assessment process. A lot of areas of that are closed out, but we've got a number of work programs which should be complete by the end of March, updated and back in the system. So this draws on, I guess, input from a lot of specialist groups internationally that have made a huge contribution to really delivering very, very high standard impact assessments. A key consultant for us is a lady called Liz Wall, who is an advisor to the IFC on their performance standards, and she's currently working through to ensure that the impact assessments are benchmarked against, I guess, the best possible standards as is currently understood. Just to sort of wrap up, we work closely with the South Greenland municipality, as Greg touched on. This is an area that's very supportive of mining, very supportive of development. It's hugely beneficial to have that sort of backdrop behind us. Last year in the PDAC, we entered a memorandum of understanding with the local municipality and business association. That's really to try and strengthen ties to ensure best opportunity is presented to the municipality as a whole. Look, I'll just wrap up there. This is really just a summary of the key points we've been through, but this is a pretty unique opportunity. It's quite rare that you can have a project which can materially impact a sector in its own right. So this is something that is significant, it is globally unique, and it's an opportunity for Greenland to participate in what are global agendas, and that is the rollout of the electrification of transport systems to provide materials that are critical to seeing that happen successfully. So we look forward to continuing to work closely with the Greenland government, with the municipality and all Greenland stakeholders to see a successful development scenario that stands to benefit not just Greenland, but I think end user industries globally. Thank you.